All right, Europa League is back this week, guys. We've got a full complement of Europa League and Conference League football on Thursday night. So let's focus on the Europa League matches, the 5 big matches that I'm looking forward to this week. And we're going to start with Go Ahead Eagles against Aston Villa. You might be wondering, Go Ahead Eagles, that sounds like an American basketball team or something. But no, they are a Dutch Eredivisie side and they're not having a good time, it must be said, this season. They're not a big club in the Netherlands by any means, but they're in the lower half of the Eredivisie table. But in the Europa League, it's been a relatively mixed bag for them so far. 1 win and 1 loss so far, and that win coming against Panathinaikos of Greece, who are no mugs by any means. They come up against Aston Villa, who have won both of their opening 2 fixtures in the Europa League phase. And to be honest, I do think Villa are going to make it 3 from 3. Villa had a very good trip to the Netherlands in Matchday 2 as well to beat Feyenoord, who are frankly a better team than the Go Ahead Eagles. I'm sorry to say, but that's not really a surprise, or it shouldn't come as a surprise anyway. So I think Villa are going to win relatively comfortably. They're in good form in Europe and also in the Premier League right now. I'm going to go with 3-0 to the Villains. Next up, let's talk about Rangers. Oh God, Rangers. They don't have Russell Martin anymore. They have a new manager in the form of Danny Rohl, who was their 8th choice or something like that. I swear everybody rejected Rangers, which is a real red flag for a club of their size, of course. But on the pitch right now, they're a bit of a laughing stock, it is fair to say. They have lost both of their opening games, but can they get some luck by eating their bran flakes up in Norway? They travel up to Brann. I'm so sorry, that's awful, isn't it? But they're going away to Brann of Norway, who have not done too badly, I suppose. They've won 1 and lost 1 so far, which is better than Rangers have managed. Rangers are away from home. I do think this is going to be not the best game. Danny Rohl's not really had much time to kind of implement his ideas for Rangers, so I'm going to go with an all-time snooze fest of 0-0 in this one, which ironically would of course be Rangers' best results so far in Europe and probably one of their best results of the season. I do think they will pick up under Danny Rohl, but it's going to take a bit of time. Right now, that team is absolutely stinking out the SPL up in Scotland. From one side of the Glasgow divide to the other, we've got Celtic against Sturm Graz of Austria. Now, Sturm Graz, of course, in the previous match, they managed to beat Rangers, but that's not really saying much, to be honest here. They lost their other game in the Europa League. Celtic, though, they are winless so far in the Europa League. 1 draw and 1 loss to their name. Pretty humiliating loss last time out against Braga at home. There was a pretty decent draw away from home against Red Star Belgrade, though. I think the boys will pick up in this one. They, of course, lost at the weekend to Dundee, which is not very good at all in the SPL, and they are falling behind Hearts of Midlothian at a staggering rate right now, of course. But in Europe, I think they're going to have just enough to beat Sturm Graz. I think it's going to be quite a tight game, but I'm going to go with the hoops to go and win this one 2-1. Another team that has a new manager is Nottingham Forest, and they play against Porto at home. Their new manager, of course, is Sean Dyche. Porto have won both of their opening 2 matches in the Europa League. Dyche is not someone who has a lot of experience in Europe, but his main goal right now for Forest will be to keep them in the Premier League with how they have been going so far. Forest are also winless in the Europa League this season so far, but they did manage to get a decent away draw against Real Betis in the opening game of the Europa League season, albeit lost pretty badly to Midtjylland of Denmark in the next one. So I think this is going to be a really tough game. Porto are seasoned competitors. They are used to being in the Champions League group phase rather than they're used to being in the Champions League at this time of this year. They are used to being in the Champions League at this time of year rather than over in the Europa League. So I think it's going to be a very, very difficult game. Forest, though, I think they're going to be tough and they're going to be shutting up shop. They're going to be a Sean Dyche masterclass. I don't think they're going to win, though. I'm going to go with another 0-0 in this one for the opening game for a new manager of a British club in Europe. And the final game, the only one not involving a UK side, I'm going to go with Lyon against Basel. Lyon have managed to win both of their opening games of the Europa League campaign, while Basel have won 1 and lost 1. Lyon, one of the sides that have managed to win both of their games. This is a relatively high-quality game for this phase in the Europa League. I do think that Lyon are going to have too much at home, and I think they're going to make it 3 wins from 3. I think Basel are going to be alright. They're a decent side in Europe, so I don't think they're going to disgrace themselves by any means. I'm going to go with 3-1 for the home team here. But yeah, there you go, guys. Europa League Match Day 3 predictions. Let me know yours in the comments below. Which games are you going to be watching this Thursday night in European competition? Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today, and we'll see you very soon.